So you just went to your doctor's office and they threw around some acronyms that you're not quite sure what to do with. PCOS, insulin resistance. What does this mean for right now? What does this mean for your future? If you're new here, I'm Rita Johnson, owner of Divine Mercy Nutritional Care, and I help women with reproductive health issues to take their health back into their own hands. PCOS is one of those diagnoses that we seem to be hearing more and more about. So I first want to start by unpacking what is PCOS. There are some different markers that a doctor is looking for before they diagnose you with PCOS, also known as polycystic ovarian syndrome. Polycystic ovaries are really just as it sounds. As an ovary starts to develop a follicle, which has an egg growing inside of it, instead of taking that follicle all the way to maturity, it starts back over with a new follicle and a new egg and begins to grow that. And then starts back over and goes over this process over and over again. Oftentimes, this can lead to our ovaries being large and cystic. In other words, full of lots of cysts. So, why do we have to be concerned about PCOS? Because PCOS is constantly growing follicles, and the follicle that's growing on the ovary is producing estrogen, this can lead us to a state of estrogen dominance. Now, estrogen dominance is really another way of saying that the estrogen level is too high for different times of our cycle, and or we're not making enough progesterone to be able to inhibit the estrogen at the post-ovulatory time of the cycle. So what can we do about PCOS? There are things that it's very common, especially in NAPRO and FEM protocols, that they can do in terms of medications that can help to limit some of the symptoms of PCOS. One of those very common medications is metformin. So with PCOS, it's oftentimes very common to have what's called insulin resistance. For insulin resistance, I'm going to talk about that more in a different video. But for now, what I just want you to remember is that the way your body is metabolizing carbohydrates and sugars is by causing a spike in your blood sugar levels. So that's why something like metformin is a really helpful medication to use to stave off some of those PCOS symptoms. But also just as impactful is what we're eating and how we're treating our bodies. Exercising regularly, reducing carbohydrates, especially processed foods, is going to go a long way in helping you to re-regulate your blood sugar levels and to not get caught up in a lot of these PCOS symptoms that are really common and tend to be a burden on us in our day-to-day life. It can be really difficult to go about your day-to-day when you don't feel well, when your energy levels are sporadic, when your estrogen level is so elevated and your progesterone levels aren't doing what they should. It can also be frustrating if you're trying to conceive when you go for months without end without seeing another menstruation happen. There's a lot that can be done in terms of supporting your body with nutrition, with lifestyle changes, and through exercise that works cooperatively with your body. It's also very common within PCOS to have weight issues where you have a hard time getting weight off. And I just want you to remember that anytime you're in this place where it's difficult to lose weight, that's a sign that your hormones are imbalanced. And because it is such a hallmark of PCOS to have imbalanced hormones, it oftentimes goes hand in hand that it's also very difficult to lose weight. So keep in mind with PCOS, it is a metabolic disorder, and it does not mean that you're going to have a difficult time conceiving when you are ready to conceive. Of course, you may have gotten the diagnosis of PCOS because you're having a hard time conceiving, in which case I encourage you to dive deep into what you can do to support your own body through this journey of PCOS. If you want to know more of what that looks like, schedule a discovery call with me. I work with women all the time that have PCOS to really find that inner healing, not just for how we're eating and how we're exercising that works cooperatively with our body, but also how we view our bodies and how we're able to really tap into that healing that the Lord desires for you and for your body to feel better than you ever thought was possible. To schedule a discovery link with me, check out the link in the description of this video. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more content from me.